City Assessor's annual assessment update effective April 1st, 2024. Pictured here is a new retail center on Broadway with a new coffee shop and electric charging facility. The purpose of this presentation is to inform real estate owners of how the real estate market has changed over the past year in Bangor and how the assessing department has changed assessed values to track the market. The goal when making changes is for each property's assessed value to be very near its market value. What do we use? Quality information, supply and demand changes, inflation and market prices, equality adjustments, fair and equitable assessments. Maine's official assessment date is April 1st each year. The city's fiscal year runs from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. This period is called fiscal year 2025. Sale period. Real estate sales, which occurred from July 2022 through June 2023, received the most weight in our analysis. Over 600 sales were considered. Assessed value. The assessed value or tax assessed value is a property's determined valuation used to calculate the appropriate amount of property tax. The value considers sales of similar homes, square footage, and current real estate market conditions, and other factors as well. What is a property's sales ratio? The sales ratio is a property's total assessed value divided by the most recent sale price. If a property's total assessed value before exemptions is $250,000 and it sells for a whopping $357,000, the sale ratio is about 70% or undervalued by 30%. If a property's total assessed value before exemptions is $300,000 and it sells for $207,000, the sale ratio is about 110% or overvalued by 10%. Objectives. City policy says overall sales ratio should be about 100%. As the market changes, so will the assessed values in an effort to improve equity. The target ratio was 94% for the April 1st, 2024 adjustments. Assessor proposes to make valuation changes by neighborhood, location, and by property type or characteristic. Changes are necessary because some ratio studies showed a median ratio either below 91% or above 103%. As adjustments are made and the median ratio moves towards 94%, equity improves.
Single residence home sales included condos, PUD properties. The green bars are average sale price. The blue bars are median sale price. On the far right, we see that in 2023, the average sale price of a home in Bangor was $286,900, an increase of 11.6%. And we see that the median was only $266,200, which was an increase of 18.3% from 2022.
So the median sale price during calendar year 2023 was $266,200. Again, that was 18.3% year over year change. And we see that the median, 50% of the sales are above the median and 50% of the sales are below the median. Notable market trends for Penobscot County. Below is a chart showing what was produced by the Federal Housing Finance Agency Home Price Index Calculator. And it shows that in Bangor, the value of a home increased 13% from the third quarter of 2022 to the third quarter of 2023. Now, Bangor MSA is pretty much Penobscot County. So there was generally good appreciation in the entire county by the third quarter of 2023. Price appreciation indicated by repeat sales just in Bangor that occurred during the period January 2022 to March 2024. So what we have is we have property types, we have the number of sales, and we have the median annualized appreciation rate. So on the top, we have single residence properties. There were 13 repeat sales. The median appreciation rate was 14.7%. The second property type is condo PUD home. 7 sales, appreciation rate 10.9%. Mobile homes and parks, we didn't have any repeat sales. Multi-unit apartment buildings, we had 8 repeat sales. Those are small apartments, 2 to 4 units, 32.6% increase. Residential vacant parcels, 5 repeat sales, appreciation of about 29.9%. And for commercial industrial, we didn't, over that 2-year period, we didn't have any repeat sales. The next few slides show a small number of properties that have sold twice over the past few years. Please note the percentage change and the time period. Ohio Street condo PUD sold July 2022 for $215,000, then sold again in June of 2023 for $247,500. That's a 15.1% increase over just 10 months. Cortland Circle condo PUD sold March of 2022 for $250,000, resold in October 2022 for $275,000. That's a 10% increase over just 7 months. Market Street 2 unit sold September 2022 for $250,000, resold in November 2023 for $192,050. That's a 28% increase over 14 months. Essex Street 3 unit sold September 2022 for $184,000, resold in December of 2023 for $270,000. That is 46.7% increase over 15 months. Winter Street home off Ohio Street, Cape Style, sold January 2022 for $236,000, resold in February of 2023 for $267,500. That's a 13.3% increase over 13 months. Ellis Court off Forest Avenue, kind of a modified raised ranch, sold September 2022 for $335,000, resold in July 2023 for $375,000. That's an 11.9% increase over just 10 months. Laurel Circle Colonial Contemporary home sold May of 2022 for $535,000, resold April of 2023 for $575,000. That's a 7.5% increase over 10.5 months. Summary of market appreciation. The previous slides provide an indication of the direction of change in market appreciation over the period from calendar year 2022 to calendar year 2023. Below are the annualized percent changes expressed in percent change per month. So generally, what's indicated is single family appreciation rate of 1% per month, condo PUD appreciation rate of 1.4% per month, and small apartment rate of 2.6% per month. Neighborhood specific adjustments were built into this year's assessed values to correct either undervaluation or overvaluation in a few cases. Sales from July 2022 through June 2023, a 1-year study period, were considered and informed us on the need to make neighborhood adjustments for equity purposes. What is a neighborhood and why are there neighborhood specific adjustments? In the image, the dark green on the left is Canduskeg Gardens neighborhood. This is the neighborhood off of Canduskeg Avenue. And on the right is the lighter green area of Bangor Gardens off of Broadway. We analyzed them separately by neighborhood. So a residential neighborhood is a grouping of like properties that are impacted by similar location and market forces. We previously covered the development of a sales ratio statistic, and here we develop one for each neighborhood. If the neighborhood's median sales ratio is below 91% or above 103%, a neighborhood adjustment either up or down is considered. In a few slides, the impacted neighborhoods are described along with the percentage changes. The following citywide adjustments were made. The increase to building values and outbuilding values. You might ask, what's an outbuilding? Well, it's going to be a deck or a shed or an addition to a home. So the across the board adjustments that will impact all of these classes of property. So single family residential properties will increase 11%. Single family condo PUD properties will increase 12%. Multi-residence properties increase 11%. Manufactured homes and parks, otherwise known as mobile homes, increased 20 to 25%. In addition to those adjustments, 40 neighborhoods containing 3,863 properties will see an additional percentage increase of varying amounts. There was an increase to all commercial and industrial property values at various percentages based on updates to the 2023 cost data, plus a market adjustment of 1.7%. Overall, these two classes of property saw a median increase of 9%. The next few slides show only the neighborhoods impacted by the neighborhood-specific adjustments. A neighborhood is an area with properties having similar characteristics such as location, style, and age. So on this slide, we have 5 columns. The first column is a neighborhood code. That's just a numeric number that we use for a particular neighborhood. The second column is streets in a neighborhood or neighborhood name or condo PUD name. The middle column really is the percentage change by neighborhood. Then we have zone, which is the zoning classification in the city. And then on the far right, number of properties impacted within that neighborhood. So if we look at the top one, neighborhood 69, Morningside condo PUD project on Hudson Avenue. Sales indicated that they needed a 32% increase in their neighborhood adjustment based upon sales over that sale period. HDR, high density residential, and 23 properties. And the second one down, we have Sun Holiday Community, which is a mobile home park off of Essex Street. They got an adjustment of 25%. There's zoned in rural, residential, and agriculture, and there are 213 properties impacted in that community. And you can read down through in descending order by neighborhood adjustment. If people wanted to spend more time, they could look at this presentation online on this city assessor's webpage. They could look at the specific PowerPoint presentation and spend more time looking at these neighborhoods. The neighborhoods that were adjusted are continuing here. And if we look at the very bottom, neighborhood 109, which is Lupine Meadow, that needed a 6% downward adjustment, negative adjustment, based upon recent sales. That's in low density residential, and there are 12 in that neighborhood. And the one above it, code 100, Meadow Brook Ridge Condo PD project. That was a minus 5% neighborhood adjustment, and there were 58 properties. Now, both of those neighborhoods still saw an increase in their value because if you remember, the across the board adjustment for condo PUD was between 10 and 12%. So net would probably be 4 or 5% up. But sales indicated that they didn't need to have a positive neighborhood adjustment. So we have the first of the maps showing percentage changes by neighborhood. So the lighter areas are smaller percentages, and then the dark green areas would be greater than 25% change in their value. The inset just shows a small, tight little area between Kenduskeag Avenue and Broadway. We happen to see Kenduskeag Gardens there on the lower left, and then Bangor Gardens on the right. And then Hudson Avenue kind of weaves through this image. 69 dark green, that's Morningside. So that was a big change in their assessment there. But this one is for the residential side. And then on the commercial side, there are fewer properties that needed larger adjustments in their values this year. But generally, most of the commercial was nearly 10% increase this year. This summary covers the cumulative impact of all the adjustments, both by property type and by neighborhood. So if you're a single residence property without a neighborhood adjustment, again, the increase is about 11%. If you're single residence properties with a neighborhood adjustment, an increase of 16% or more is most likely. For residential condo PD properties, the neighborhood adjustment increase was 12%. Again, those that also had the neighborhood adjustment are going to be 17% or more increase in their value. 2, 3, 4 unit multi-residence properties without that neighborhood adjustment, we'll see an 11% increase most likely. But there again, if they have the neighborhood adjustment, their increase is going to be 16% or more. How's Bangor's economy, in the region doing with employment? Statistics as of April 2024. Total employment decreased 2% since June of 2023. The number of jobs filled decreased from 86,600 to 67,200, a loss of 1,400 jobs. And this data is coming from the Federal Reserve of Boston statistics for Maine. Our region's unemployment rate in April 2024 stood at 3.2%, an increase from the previous year's rate of 2.2%, a 45% increase, which is a pretty big increase in the unemployment rate. Our region's rate was lower than Maine's unemployment rate at 3.4%, but higher than the South Portland rate of 2.7%. The next slide shows how taxable sales in Bangor have changed from calendar year 2022 to 2023, according to Maine Revenue Services. The business operating sales category saw the largest year-over-year increase at 8.4%. So what do we have in the Bangor economy? So this would be taxable sales in 2023 versus 2022. So the first column is the category. The second column would be the sales in 2022. Third column, sales in 2023, and then a year-over-year percentage change. So if we start at the top, auto transportation, basically $513 million in sales was up to $530 million of sales in 2023 for a 3.2% increase. If we go down 4 lines, food store taxable sales was $102 million in 2022, but it dropped to $99.9 million in 2023, and that was a reduction of just over 2%. And if we look at retail and other, $146.6 million in 2022, down to $141.5 million in 2023, a 3.5% decrease. Restaurant, $197.9 million in 2022, and then up to $208 million in 2023, a 5.4% increase. Lodging was pretty much flat. So total was up 1.5%. And then personal consumption really is total consumption less business operating sales. And personal consumption was really only up 1.1%. Probably the smallest increases year over year that we've seen for some time. The next slide shows that apartment buildings and other commercial industrial properties also received increases to their property values. Commercial occupancy type and then median value increase, hotel and motel, 7.9%. Storage and distribution warehouse, 8.4%, convenience stores, 8.7%, service and storage garage, 6.9%, office, medical office, 8.6%, retail and discount store, 9.8%, restaurant and food, fast food, 9.5%, large multifamily apartment, 8.7%. Now, if we look at those same changes in commercial industrial values by area, so what was the median value increase in the general area? Hammond and Main Avenue area, 7.2%. Hogan Road Stillwater area, 7.5%. Broadway retail area, 8.1%. Union Street retail area, about 8.9%. Odland Road mixed area, 8.7%. Hammond area industrial park, 9.2%. Downtown office and retail, about 8.9%. And State Street area, 8%. The median ratios did improve after all of our adjustments. Again, equity exists when the after ratios are within 5 percentage points of each other and are all moving toward 100%. So what we have here is a median ratio by class. We have the beginning ratio before adjustments, and then we have the after ratio after adjustments. So when you look at all the improved property sales in Bangor, we went from 84% to 94%. Residential condo PUD properties went from 84% to 93%. Single residence went from 83% to 94%. 2 to 4 unit small apartments went from 87% to 95%. All commercial industrial properties, 85% to 94%. Mobile home parks, they started at a low of 71. We got them up to 85. And I think those were the appropriate adjustments. And then we look at all of the general classes, the after ratios. Other than mobile homes and parks, we pretty much hit our target of 94% with our adjustment. Were the adjustments necessary? So we have an assessing standard. Municipalities shall achieve the following standard pursuant to Title 36, Section 327. It sets the minimum assessor ratio standard is between 70% and 110%. So we did a little deeper dive. There were 48 single resident properties that sold between January 1st of 2024 and March 31st of 2024. The ratio study report showed a median sales ratio of just 87%. Without the previously outlined adjustments, this ratio finding of 87% would have been in the high 70s. Again, the goal of making valuation adjustments is to follow the market trends, which will result in a ratio much closer to 100%. The real estate market in Bangor is still seeing higher prices paid for new and existing homes, as well as apartment buildings. According to data on sales in May of 2024, homes in the Bangor region are selling below their list price by 1% on average. Currently, the median days on market is 11 days. Demand is strong in Bangor's due to its appeal, along with good rental history. This change has happened despite the extremely high interest rates, with the 30-year fixed rate increasing from about 6% to over 7% over the past year, according to Fannie Mae's website. The next few slides show homes that were constructed and finished by April 1st, 2024. Included are the property's general location, building style, or likely assessed value. New Kentuskeg Avenue home on a 1.1 acre lot, contemporary style, assessed value $335,800. A new home on Partridge Lane on a 4 acre lot, colonial on slab with additional building, total value $1,046,300. A new double wide manufactured home at Sun Birch Hill, assessed value $133,200. New 2-unit on 3rd Street, townhouse style, assessed value $532,100 or $266,050 per unit. In this case, each unit has approximately 1,728 square feet. What about the commercial industrial buildings built or remodeled in Bangor? Are they being assessed at reasonable values? The answer is yes. A new fast food restaurant on Hogan Road, assessed value $983,200. Redevelopment of 27 State Street increased in value by over $1.8 million, created 20 new dwelling units. New tiny home project on Hammond Street, partially complete 20 units with a value of $1,828,000. Apartment remodel of the old Bangor High School on Honolulu Street is now complete, increased in value by $2.2 million. Now has 69 units. New retail center on Broadway with a charging facility with many stations, property value $2,642,000. Waterfront concert venue continued to grow and improve, increased in value by another $5 million. Total value now above $17 million. Change in Bangor's housing stock over the past year. 46 new dwelling units were partially complete on April 1st. 113 new dwelling units have been completed. 6 older dwelling units were either demolished or removed. 94 older dwelling units were totally remodeled. Oh, on to business personal property. While we are covering commercial properties, let's discuss the requirement for businesses and leasing companies to pay a local tax based on their assets' total depreciated value. The taxable property includes, but is not limited to, the following: computers, point of sale equipment, copiers, office furniture, store fixtures, signs, trailers, machinery, manufacturing and processing equipment, gambling machines or devices, etc. Annually, the assessing department provides a declaration form where each business can report their assets. Business personal property tax reduction programs. For more information on the following: Betty, business equipment tax exemption, or better, business equipment tax rebate. Please contact the assessing department at 992-4212. An exemption or rebate on personal property tax will help reduce the amount you actually pay. Business personal property highlight. In 2023, businesses in Bangor purchased more than $52.5 million worth of machinery, equipment, computers, fixtures, furniture, etc. This group included 8,273 individual assets in the city. A lot of data entry. Due to the state of Maine Betty program, $18.2 million, or just over 34% of the purchases, were exempted at the local level. That means they didn't have to pay tax. The remaining $34 million, or 64%, was taxable. Now, both did help lower the city's tax rate because the state of Maine reimburses us partially on the Betty exemption. Your tax bill. Individual tax bills are based on your property's taxable assessed value multiplied by the city's tax rate. Now, the tax rate really is simply just the net amount to raise from taxation divided by the total taxable value of the city. Net amount to be raised by local property taxes, we generally have to just reduce that amount by the state of Maine reimbursement for homestead and Betty exemptions, and then we have an overlay amount built in. Is my assessment equitable? There are 2 ways of help you determine this. First, compare your property value to similar properties that sold in Bangor over the previous year between April 1st, 2022 to March 2024. Second, if no recent sales are available, compare your assessed value to other similar properties that are thought to be comparable. Remember, very few properties are exactly alike. Who pays what share of property taxes in Bangor? So 4.4% of property taxes are paid for by homestead, Betty, and renewable energy reimbursement from the state of Maine. 46.7% of taxes are paid for by the commercial, industrial, land and structures, and business personal property class. And finally, 48.9% of the taxes are paid by those that own residential 1 to 4 unit homes, condos, PUD, mobile homes, and residential vacant land. Individual exemptions. For more information on property tax exemptions like homestead, veteran, and blind, please contact the assessing department at 992-4209. An exemption will help reduce the amount you pay in actual tax dollars. Homestead exemption. Your total assessed value will be reduced by up to $25,000, and you will save up to $464 in taxes. Bangor's new tax rate. Last year, the rate was $19.15 per $1,000 of valuation. This year, the rate has dropped to $18.55 per $1,000 of valuation. This is a decrease of 60 cents or about 3%. Please note that the same tax rate is used for all classes of property, both real and personal. So if we think about this slide, yes, the tax rate has dropped to 3%, but I've previously told you that the values were increasing pretty much 9% or more. So, the net change for your tax bill is, definitely going to be more than 6% overall. We welcome all questions and comments about this presentation. Please call our office at 992-4209 or stop by to see us between 8 and 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. We are located in the Penquist building at 262 Harlow Street. This annual assessment update is also available on the City Assessor's webpage. Please read the June memo, which is also on the webpage. It will be useful in understanding this year's adjustments further. Please go to bangormaine.gov/assessing. Thank you. The end.